I was confused and asked Eliba. Ellie was also afraid of being alone, so she went to sleep with Ra Sao. Ellie's face was full of 7 hopes. That's right. Let's go back to sleep. Ellie in pain. All your plans and preparations are falling apart. You often think that's clearly not the case. He scratched his head a little. I don't know how to handle it. I'm embarrassed to say that Ellie's not going well tonight. Ellie seems to have been exiled to see the intention clearly. She frowned, explaining what. What is not favorable? Play and I went to bed together. Going to bed is simple. God, I can't believe that. You can trick children. It's our master of the arts. Say Fang hugs his face thinking glitter eyes. I can make an appointment with Ellie. Wait for me to come back. Ellie fell into the lap of the rabbit, the card replied. I used to think it was good to leave. The next morning at the Atlantic port. All work is ready. And everyone is ready to go to the capital. The guard came down and informed the young master. All 1,500 soldiers were on board. Battle squad. Lang has also reached the end of the complete renovation supplies. Please give instructions to save the feedback. Then the guard stood up and said obey. Say goodbye to everyone. Nicola also waved goodbye to the exile. The young man must return soon. Ellie also said that the young master went smoothly. He turned around and said, don't worry. The flag of the train fluttered in the middle of the sea. I'm all out of here. In the moment, Prince Lucia led the army to the base of the 2 Grana princes. The 2 princes dragged along an army of horsemen already standing there. Welcome to your brother. To Prince Lucia whispered the words, Lucia. You still dare to come. It seems that a few days ago the teaching was not deep enough. Prince Lucia said with cold eyes. I have to kill you today. To Prince Garina, arrogant answer full of challenges. Kill me and see if you have that talent. Grand Prince Lucia screamed loudly. Cheers to his riders. The knights just killed Garina. That is when you will be honored. The whole army of the great prince is on fire. Straight ahead. Copper Bar shout 2. Killed 2 princes, Lucia shouted. Order the soldiers up for me. And then the 2 of them crashed into each other, killing like a puff of smoke. The sound of weapons flashing VA at each other. The dead are like crow. The Viscount on the great prince's side. Swinging the blade, the soldiers of the 2 princes fell. Suddenly, there was a horrible noise. Both man and horse fly to the middle. Then Ra is the master of the memory. The 2 princes appeared. His heavy footsteps terrified everyone. The old man shouted, come here and face me. The knight side to Prince Garina saw the great. I shouted out loud. The master came to get out of the way. 2 princes of Garina stand in a viewing angle. Laughing is right. Kill them. Prince Lucia saw the great man and was afraid. He gave orders to his followers. Give it to you. The name in the religion is also a bit of a whisper. Yes, sir, it's hard for you. When he heard the order of the prince, he fled. The old man saw it coming towards him. He laughed excitedly and laughed ha ha. Come here, continue to the master. Smiling, he continued, who's so stealthy? The assassin Tiki with the bow and arrow. aimed directly at the mouth of the giant. He told the old man, "You want to take your life." The arrow flew into the mouth of the giant. They don't know that the arrow is poisonous. I used my white teeth as though they were white. The old man yelled out loud, "The killer! You also have to admire the talent of the ancients." That uttered harm. Go back to the back and laugh. But you're still poisoned. Suddenly, the old man was stunned. My mind, my hands and feet trembling. You don't have the strength anymore. He shouted, "Eh?" Prince Lucia saw that and laughed. Could kill me. To Prince Garina sees the situation is not good. Order the soldiers. Pull the Black Master back. It seems that the victory belongs to Prince Lucia. But I don't know where the sound of killing comes from. The time for industrial construction has come. An army is coming. Jaw face full of gas. To Prince Garina. Smiling, his cold eyes said, "Trapped." Then the new army came and shouted a counterattack. The soldiers of Prince Lucia were stunned. Turned back dazed. The prince heard that and did not understand what was going on. What is he angry about? Soldier name, report the situation to King Lucia. Electric power how our soldiers. By divided Ra, surrounded. Lucia was angry and told the two obnoxious dukes, "I hate to send your soldiers to Cho." The two dukes faltered, but not to finish the sentence, Prince Lucia shouted, "It doesn't matter if everyone who's surrounded dies. We will spend our lives quickly." The two Viscount heard the order and said yes. Yes, the sky is red as smoke. The dead are lying like dawns. The two sides have finished fighting. His subordinates informed his two Jinya princes. In the end, Lucia's army fought back. We can't destroy them all. Garina replied yes. His cold eyes continued. Even though we still have time. The night falls. At the base of the great Prince Lucia. You guys are sitting around talking. 3 guards try to stop Prince Lucia. They talk loud. "Your Majesty, the situation is at our disadvantage. The leopard detective has movement. Our city is very dangerous. This battle cannot be fought. It is also a terrible day to continue to fight. We will lose very badly." Great Prince Lucia dark face closed his eyes. "I am angry with you." Then he stood up and yelled at me to give up. The long gray-haired god calmly said, "Your Majesty, this time we are out." That swallowed 5 cities of Garina. He also suffered 7 serious injuries. Before we can officially return to the capital. Main Stability Registration Department. It will be better after the spring of war. More keep fighting. It only benefits people, Your Majesty. Don't forget Lucy's in the Atlantic City. Great Prince Lucia goes back and forth. Hear the god's long gray hair say. It also makes sense. He said, yes, and sent the order back to the capital. The guard obeyed the order and said yes. Grand Prince Lucia has a cool eye. Garina let you live another winter. Early morning the next day. Army of soldiers. The knight helped 2 princes. Surrounded the prince's army yesterday. Departure on the way home. The 2 princes of Garina stood on high watching the people leave. And say this name just like that. The great warrior came from a distance. Prince Green hurriedly asked Mr. Han. How's your wound? Bachelor replied, the doctor gave me the medicine. But Prince Kier is really weak. Just go like that. A waste of the master's hard work. To Prince Garina smiling crossing hand answer. You don't have to be angry, Mr. Black. Trust me when he comes back. Certain circumstances are even more difficult here. Prince Lucia has returned to the capital. He summoned his ministers to a court meeting. The prodigies bowed their heads respectfully. The imperial palace of Kai Quan. Prince Lisa stepped into her chair and spoke. You're working hard. I have come back today to make a statement. The ministers below are listening attentively. A curious face. Prince Lucia continued. I used to punish the traitor Garina. Delay the succession. Now Garina is seriously hurt 7. So I am the eldest son of the Kingdom of England. Lucia officially declares you. Tomorrow we will conduct the registration. The great prodigies say yes, your majesty. Great Prince Lucia face full of contented joy. The courtiers don't look very happy either. The court dismissed everyone home. Prince Lucia stood in the room. He's holding a glass of wine in his hand. The long-haired man in the gods worshipped. Congratulations to your majesty. No, sorry I misspoke. Congratulations, your majesty. Lucia laughed and enjoyed haha. 3 are welcome. We can sit in this position today. Fortunately for everyone's help. Don't worry, I won't abuse you. This long silver-haired guy, softly stroking his sparse mustaches. To renew their covenant. Then, your majesty, that's what we talked about before. Lucia hurriedly lowered his glass of wine. Turn your back and hide. Wait a minute. We just registered. There's a lot of unfinished business. Where did Master V appear from? Voice of blame. Your majesty wants to cancel the contract. Lu Zhu, startled. He looked back in surprise and asked who he was. Long gray-haired old man solemnly presented his majesty Shao, introducing to you. These are the 4 great tenets of our religion. The teacher about now. After hearing the story of the old man, Lucia laughed in front of her. Take back the last word. Master, what you just said is wrong. For better or worse, I am a king. The king has promised you. Of course we'll give. Then his eyes turned cold to his voice. If we don't want to give, you can't steal it either. Master Vinay appeared unconcerned that. It is not your turn. Then the long-haired man handed Lucia a piece of paper. Lucia held the paper and read, her face in horror. There's no words. Via night, Cardinal Cold Eyes looked at Lucia, continued. These are the nobles who support us. Your Majesty must know that you have just ascended. If these nobles oppose you, what's the end? Lucia facial spicy owl. Angry crumpled paper gnashing teeth good to talk. What do you have in mind? Vienna continued. To borrow my influence to entice those nobles. Then bribing the nobles to weaken my power. Everyone has their own needs. Like you and me, your Majesty. Lucia was angry at him and rushed straight. To the Cardinal Vainai threatened A. We kill people. He felt cold on his back. There's a sharp arrow coming right at him. Then Ra is the killer. He is also on the same side as the Venetian. He told Lucia not to move. The old master said, Your Majesty, Lucia respects your face. Before we had fun working together. I advise you one thing. The man with a challenging face continued. You are my king. We are our missionaries. AI doesn't bother AI either. Lucia trembled with fear and replied that from now on, my orders cannot be transmitted out of the palace. Lucia knew her fate. Understand your situation right now, Master Vinay said quickly. I see you understand that. Don't worry when I board tomorrow. Remember our plan. Long-haired gray guy in false theology. Bow respectfully. May the light of God protect you. Assassins go and say goodbye to Lucia. Goodbye, your majesty. That's it. 3 of the gods left Lucia. After they left, Lucia was furious. Clenched his hand against the table. Mouth screaming obnoxious. I just came out of the old man's room. Master Vinay gave the order to the long gray-haired. Say the words to the Grand Master. Lost in the hands of God. The long-haired man obeyed. Then he asked him this question. Master, the West must do the sao. And the animals next to you. Master Vinavoso replied. The man next door is not strong enough. We've arranged for Kir's exile. It's a small boss. No need to stress, until we get all the city. You can't even eat a small boss, or sao. The grinning, long-haired man replied yes. Song, you shui. Now a little girl is playing on the shore. Then a big ship appeared. The waves crashed against the side of the ship. The rabbit saw that and ran away with 3 legs. That's the ship of the Fenken. He's on his way to the capital. The ship is almost there. In the distance are magnificent buildings filled with yellow lights. The moon's light is shining. In the skies inland. The white clouds hovering. Along with the softly falling snowflakes. It creates a very romantic space. At that time, Liu Feng's steam, become a sumptuous master, voices echoing, is approaching the harbor of the royal capital. Lan Palace, seated inside the ship. Coffee cup handle with coffee. You say softly, it was so easy and fast to get to the capital. I can't believe this ship has been improved. Moving so fast again. In fact, did Princess Lucy see? Should we thank Miss Elsa? She bravely acts on the side. Attract the attention of the military. If not, it is difficult for us to easily enter the capital. Like this time, Princess Lucy is on the other side. Her hand held a cup of hot coffee smoking suspiciously. You feel like the cause is on your side. Elsa is not right. She suddenly asked the opposite to save the owner. Maybe it's not because of the wind. You have quietly controlled close to the capital sao. Maybe we think differently. In Thai drill pose. She smiled back at Princess Lucy. The princess is also a cause. Say paragraph. He turned his gaze to the outside of the door. Eyes gazing at. He sipped a warm cup of coffee and thought to himself. In this day and age, this is a kind of intelligence blockade. Quiet space for a moment. Queen Timoti and Mr. Zombie. 2 of them. The queen put her hands on the chair. Bright and vibrant eyes toward the Lan Royal Palace. The queen said, Princess Lucy's quirky cock tone. Oh my God, this is the capital of the kingdom of Lan Sao, or our eyes are blurry so we can't see. This place looks over not even the Atlantic city of Liu Feng. The robin in the back is also worried. But you still choose to be silent. And Princess Lucy heard these words. You're a little sulky. An hour without wanting to argue. The owner hurried back to the 3 people. You're trying to change the atmosphere. I told Her Majesty the Queen, His Majesty Tim Mo. After entering the city, could you please help us identify the cardinal? Tim Modi puts his hand on Robin's shoulder. Don't worry, give it to Robin. I'm afraid he understands the full spectrum of theology, more than the gods. But before that, I'm very curious we're going to go in. Be the owner as if you know you will ask. Laughing out of mystery. Haha, it's easier to get close to the capital. Queen Tim Mo is a little confused. The book doesn't explain much. Just one more sentence. We're all on the same project. The side of the royal capital's customs office. One person in the room, after seeing the ship of the wind. Call out to the person who is sleeping in the front. He pointed out to the harbor. Lord, a boat has arrived. The man who was called, hands on one cheek. Eyes closed, eyes open, slightly glance in the direction of the other hand. He looked at the red flag with a picture of a ship. Then explain. It's a courier boat. Don't worry. The guard doesn't seem to understand. If you hear that, say yes, but then he wondered. But that boat is so big, there's so much. I've never seen such a big boat before. You tell me how to run. The old man shrugged when he heard my question. Sighed a breath of facial expression with no half point of interest. He answered nonsense. You know, is the boss behind the courier AI? That's the person on top of their stuff. You can think of something. I've heard that the royal family is in another country. People can use gold coins to bathe every day. You guys watch together. If you hear my boss say that, you can only turn around, repeating the words, I dare not think, dare not think. In the train at the moment, Queen Timoti is not out of question. SAO courier. Robin heard her ask, laughed, and explained, but before that, I didn't forget to pick up a cookie from my plate. Put it in your mouth. This is a convenient part for people. That's why they built it not long ago. Specialized in charge of courier transportation. There are many boats, frequently in large cities. Stands in front. Let's hear this Mr. Robin make it clear. Not from feeling. Robin, you've been investigating me. But Tim Mo, the queen, still doesn't understand. She kept asking them not to investigate. The wind is not coming back. I just looked outside. Through the glass in the cabin. Just answered a city leader. No matter what, he was also controlled by his superiors. As long as his superiors are fed, what else can he do? The queen finally understood. If you can't help but utter a sentence, that's what Ra is. After so many hours, the sky is bright now. Like the same group of people who have been surrounding a base. I still hold the bow in my hand. Strictly give orders to others. Pass the word to the young master. He's got the crown. Somewhere else. Team rifle of Izina and the spirits. He also killed all the guards. Izina then ordered. Cho Liu Feng has taken the city gate. Somewhere else. It's King's Square. Currently, this place has gathered a lot of people. To see the Grand Prince's enthronement. The Pope arrives in front of everyone. The Prince by. Prince Lucia's face was furrowed. Move your stick forward for an hour. Back to the previous evening. Night Kai King in the royal capital. Total package carrier. Read a piece of paper for a moment and conclude. Then out. That's what happened in the capital tonight. The Queen of Timor, standing next to her, also read the text. Then show how the gods educate. It's exactly the same as the kingdom that gave us birth. Weakening the nobility weakens the kingship. Princess Lucy lowered her head slightly when she heard that. His face filled with anxiety. This is almost all of our nobles. Save the land. We have to do something. Just beat Lucia. But there's no way to stop the gods. If you listen to that, give an opinion. This is not a good opportunity to come to SAO. In my plans, that don't need these nobles to exist. Princess Lucy couldn't help but hear that. Just ask me what you mean. But I can't finish the sentence. The queen gave birth to Chen. You don't need a noble to take you seriously. Hand fold the paper. I just made you answer. The so-called nobles. He's actually just a king. Divide power among the nobles under their own hands, that the king rules the nobles to rule the kingdom. Princess Lucy seemed to understand. She said boldly, "But if you use the administrative structure of Liu Feng, the lower, in the Atlantic City, to rule the nation, the country does not need the existence of nobles." Speaking of which, Princess Lucy, I completely knew the purpose of the book. You keep asking your followers what you want. The owner of the house confirmed that, yes. I have no reason to deal with these nobles. But if they're already entrenched in the theosophy, I have a reason to act. In the crowded atmosphere of the capital, at a hidden corner at the end of the street, there was a figure in a black cloak. Not just powder, there are many others who wear the same. In the back, the head in there speaks out. The scene moves to a rather boisterous corner. The sky is so clear. The golden sun shone on a corner of the capital. Below the ground are people who are gathering in large numbers. Talk, laugh, talk. In the middle of King's Square, spread a long yellow-edged red carpet. From under the stairs, to the seats of kings. Prince Lushan stood in the middle of the carpet. Faced the crowd below. Next to them are the gods. With the guards. The gods don't know what to say. It seems to laugh and talk happily. It seems in their eyes, a man named Lucia is nothing. Prince Lucia looked at those people. He was angry on the face. In a corner where there's no one passing by, a voice comes up. There are no people around. He is called the Lord. Check the situation one last time. Have the eyes and ears arranged? The man replied, "It has been arranged." The people who had just talked immediately rushed out. That's Liu Feng's army, and the commander is the fisherman. The conversation before is to sort out the situation one last time before acting, and now as the great leader of the great army. Then let's go. Meanwhile, at a military barracks in the royal capital, inside a base. 2 soldiers in front. The fireplace is burning furiously for heating. One of the 2 generals said, "The palace square over there is very busy today." The other person replied an hour later, "Bad has nothing to do with us. Not even by being honest here." Suddenly, the door of the room opened. A panicked person runs into the announcement. Quickly prepare to fight. They were threatened with a fight, and then asked. Fighting with AI. When I dropped the question, the reporter ran in. He was shot down by the arrow. Fall to the ground. The 2 of them were so shocked that they woke up. Green talent sharp, but can only stand and can't resist. The King's Square right now. Prince Lucia is in darkness, and his face is gnashing his teeth. Internal conflict pondering the throne. What is the value of sitting here now? It's just an empty shell. It's not true. It's a crown anyway. He is the ruler of the people. Lucia, after looking at the people. Turn your head towards the throne. The king in his mind constantly drawing plans. After ascending the throne, just sit there. The organization in the dark is our loyal force. There will be a chance to turn things around. There will be a chance to turn it around. So, he must be king before he can come to the end. It's definitely me. After thinking like that, the prince could not help but laugh. But soon enough, a voice came from below. That surprised him. He does not deserve to be king. Princess Lucy from the people below. Uncloaked down eloquently said. Prince Lucia killed the king first. Plot to twist the crime of heaven. And Princess Lucy, I'm the witness. People see the pulse. I couldn't help but look at Lucy. They talk to each other. Princess Lucy is actually Princess Lucy. Maybe the news a few months ago was true. Princess Lucy said the same. Prince Lucia could not help but lose his temper. She's screaming and talking. Where are you? Let's get this nasty woman back to me. The prince's soldiers immediately obeyed. He's trying to catch Lucy. But very quickly, they were shot in the neck. Fall down. People around me saw this blood. It's very scary and scary. There's a blonde who's scared to stutter to death. He's dead. The person next to him saw him standing there watching. Remember to run away. People started running around. He is now leading the army. Steady forward next to Lucy. Use sarcasm, whether you mean it or not, Lucia, you know it. I saw the wind suddenly appear. The prince can't help but wonder who you are. It was then that he began to raise his hand. Pretend to be sincere. Save the Atlantic wind. Help her for Her Royal Highness Princess Lucy. Come here to judge your crimes. And Nick looked at this situation. It's hard to say 2 words. Soldiers behind him. AI face is also confused turn to ask. So many soldiers. How could he put it in? We don't get any news. The prince saw that Nick did nothing. And he said out loud, command the teacher to Nick. What are you doing there? They didn't even send someone to arrest them. But contrary to Lucia's attitude about Nick, the cardinal stood still without taking orders. Cold sprayed out 7 letters. What does this have to do with me? The prince was surprised what he said. I understand now even without me. Lucy can also be your puppet. It is great to come to this water. When he arrived at the destination, he admitted, haha. Your Majesty, this is the end of the line, compared to Mr. Lucy. Your Majesty clearly has a better reputation. I can't wait for Nick anymore. The prince turned to General Basan. But now, who can stand on the side of the great prince? General Basan does not care face. Coldly replied, Your Majesty, this is about King 7. The nobles, like we don't get involved. He was rejected by all his generals. Prince Lucia came and tightened the stick in his hand. Liver voice. You guys are good. The excited anger flared to the top. The prince is screaming now. Not my bodyguard. The guards immediately knelt down and shouted. Lucia gave me the order. The soldiers immediately rushed towards the storm. But the wind doesn't stand still. He stood up with 2 fingers and gave orders to his men. Name. The crowd shouted, kill. The 2 sides quickly fight. 3 son over there. Take out the shield for the teacher, Nick. He took him to a safer place. Nick walked away and looked back and thought. This may be his last man. Then Nick turned around and said to Buck. Basan, the lower, in case the guards come quickly. Basan replied immediately. My orders have been sent down. They can lead the army into the capital. He has a little talent, but he's young. There was a malicious smile on her face. He said more. Waiting for our troops to come to a net that captures them. We can control Her Majesty Lucy. To control the kingdom. That's what the teacher said about Nick. He showed a bad face. Agree, that's right. The battle is still raging. The sounds of killing fire together. The sound of VA weapons touching so hard. Lucia's people kept falling down slowly. It surprised him. Lucia, give up now, Lucia. But Lucia is extremely attached. He can't accept 7 defeats. He shouted angrily. Absolutely not. I am the king's son. He is also the heir to the throne. Mina from behind. He kicked Lucia so hard that he fell unconscious. She put her hands on her hips, contemptuously said, "Why do you people talk so much shit? See the situation in front of you. The battle has turned to the wind. Nick is not out of question. 3 sons, they're done fighting. Your people haven't come yet. It's not just remixes. Even Buzz-Sun couldn't figure it out. It shouldn't be. Logically, it's already here." After settling the matter with the prince, turn around with your people. Look at the gods. A soldier in Nick's formation suddenly creeps his hair out. Ask the master. They came here and did what they did. Nick is a little scared though, but there is still a smile to reassure something. They wouldn't dare do anything to us. The wind is now approaching. Ask a question about Nick. Nick was acting as a greeting. I can't believe you guys know me. The girl with a smile gave the order. You're good. Arrest him. The servant next door immediately yelled yes for an hour. He was arrested by a group of people. Can't escape. He's got your face on his mouth, yelling, "Slow down. Wait for the wind to stop." He even fell into a 7-fold defeat. They also will not admit defeat. He shouted, "Don't think you can get a royal slave. Then you can let Her Majesty Lucy sit in that position. Without me, you will lose the support of all the nobles. Save the title. Your face doesn't care what you say. Give Nick a cup of cold water. You're right. So I'm going to deal with you all." The soldiers are. He was on General Ba's team. When I heard Liu Feng say that at the same time, I was surprised. What? He kept giving orders to the people who were holding them. The god of Nick. Put it down and lock it up. Until this moment, he hasn't given up his struggle yet. I was just being carried around trying to scold. Fuck you, go to hell. Soldiers on the side of General Basan. Look at this scene. Sometimes I don't know what to say. I see the quiet air, standing in the middle of his guard. Smiling face like steel words. Guys, I think you're very clear. Now, this place, only my voice can help. So don't do redundant things. Understand? The General Basan listened to no one dared to argue. Can only shiver and sweat and stutter and say yes, yes. At the detention center for Nick, by Liu Feng's subordinates accidentally pushed into prison. The guard's face was cold. The definitive movement. I didn't listen to what his father said. He was pushed by the police force. Face wrinkled. Lose focus and fall out front. The teacher cried out in pain. After being locked up, he had a contorted face. Angry, yelling at the ignorant prisoner. I will curse you. The guard is so indifferent. I don't care to turn around. I don't care if he screams. Now there's a sound behind. Master teacher. He hadn't noticed anyone behind him. It's just screaming at the guards. He heard my call and turned around. He saw all the familiar people. He was full of doubt and asked his consul, "Why are you all here?" Some people wear the same clothes as the teacher. Ra is all of the cult. One of the others stood up and explained. The teachers are Tim, Mo, and Robin. Savers and they are a foam. Master Nick heard that, he screamed.